Hello world, it's Angel the Queer Millennial. I'm back with part 3 of how I decided to quit my job. In the background you have Miss Riley going to sleep. So, alright, let's get started. So in this video, I am going to be talking about Buddha. This is what sort of pushed me over the edge and made me finally take action and make that decision to quit my job. So, as you know, Buddha was my dog, and he passed away about a month ago on a Monday evening, and in the morning he was still rolling in the grass and living his best life, and in the afternoon he still wanted to go on walkies. And it's been really hard, but I kind of documented my process, and I thought I would share that with you in case you were going through the same thing, or just to give you a perspective of what I've done throughout this process that has really helped me. If you've never had to go through a loss like this before, like me, this is my first real close death. And so I really didn't know what to do. So I hope this video helps you. So I have my notes over here. I documented everything and I wrote it down. So I'm just gonna kind of read through what happened and what I did. So, like I said, Buddha passed away on Monday evening and I could not sleep that night. I was tossing and turning till like 2 a.m. And at that point, I just got up and sobbed. It was more like wailing, to be honest. Then I had Foxy take me home so that I could go home and sleep in my own bed, and I thought maybe that would make it a little better. I also took a Benadryl so that I could go to sleep. The next day, I wanted to do something in honor of Buddha. By the way, I had this whole week off because I had a concussion, so I had a week off, and I was supposed to be resting my brain, but honestly I could not just sit around at home and just look at all the places that he would lay and just look at all his stuff. I couldn't do it. So on Tuesday I wanted to go to Fort Funston. If you don't know, Fort Funston is a dog beach in the San Francisco Bay Area, and it's pretty cool. Although, anyway, so I made Foxy take me to Fort Funston. I brought Buddha's collar with me, and I wanted to go to Funston because I wanted to see and imagine that Buddha was in a place like that, but like better. You know what I mean? Like, I hoped that he was in heaven on a nice beach, running free. And that his leggy didn't hurt anymore, nothing hurt, and he's playing with other dogs and getting along and getting all the pets that he ever wants in life and eating anything that he wants without becoming unhealthy. And so we went to Funston and I imagined him running free and happy. And then while we were up Peninsula, I decided that I wanted to go play with some puppies for pure selfish reasons and get a dopamine hit. I think after Buddha died, his body was so lifeless, and I kind of wanted to remember what it was to be alive and young and vital, and for a dog to have life. But Sammy doesn't count, because I see Sammy every single day. So we went to the SFSPCA to play with some puppies, and comment in the comment section below if you want me to reveal it all. So that was Tuesday. Wednesday, I ran out of food, and I needed to make some doctor's appointments, so it was kind of an errand day. But on this day, Foxy also gently asked me if I had told Jeffrey and Rhea. So Jeffrey and Rhea were Airbnb hosts at an Airbnb where I stayed in SoCal during my residency. I was driving down to Western States Conference in San Diego for my residency presentation, and I had never been in California before, had never been in San Diego, so I thought I would do a road trip and make a trip out of it. And I stayed at an Airbnb that they were hosting, and they were also fostering Buddha, so that's where I first met Buddha. I went home, finished my residency, and I looked to buy a home in the Bay Area as I was going to stay on and keep working where I did my residency. And ultimately, I decided to buy further from my workplace because I could get more bang for my buck, and I could get a house with a yard. And a yard so I can get a dog, but in my mind I was like, I'm gonna get a yard for Buddha. And so I got the house, went back to SoCal and adopted him. Anyway, back to the story. I hadn't told Jeffrey and Rhea yet, but Sean's question kind of planted a seed in my brain, and it would be a seed of healing. That night before I went to bed, I drafted a message to Rhea and Jeffrey, and I cried the whole time I was writing it. At first I thought the process of letting people know who knew him was sort of for me, right, and them, I guess, but I thought the process of telling people was a way of honoring Buddha and letting others honor his life as well, and really just expressing gratitude for the people, for their part in his life, and for loving him and petting him and giving all the compliments, all things that he loved. And I thought this practice of being grateful for these people who love Buddha was healing. What I didn't expect was how comforting the responses would be. And so I wrote down a couple of them. And I want to read them word for word. And they were really healing for me. And I hope that if you're going through something and don't have the support that you need, that you'll be able to take these words for your own comfort. So the first person said, "Oh, Angel, I'm so sorry. I know how much it hurts. I still miss Bauer all the time. We were so happy that you gave him such an amazing home, and I know you gave him the best life ever. For goodness sakes, you bought him a house so he would have a yard. I was actually just thinking of him today because an old photo popped up of my son-in-law holding him like a baby. I miss his smiling face." We lost James Bond a few weeks ago as well, old age. Bauer and Bond taught him how to be a good and loving boy. Now Buddha and Bauer and Bond can play together on the other side of the rainbow bridge. I'll be thinking of you and sending you hugs. We were so lucky to have you come into our lives, and you are his angel. Okay, second person. I'm so terribly sorry, Angel. Thank you for telling me, and thank you for giving Buddha such a wonderful, loving home. He surely lived an amazing life with you. Okay, third person. Oh no, Angel, I'm so sorry. Losing a dog is so hard. I'm sorry you have to feel that pain. I loved spending time with him. He was such a good boy, and he had the best mama on the planet. He had a life filled with love and joy, and you gave him that. He loved you so much. Okay. Fourth person, I'm losing track. Oh my OMG. Oh my OMG, Angel. What shocking and sad news. I'm so sorry to hear of Buddha's passing. Thank you for letting me know. I know that there's going to be a long road to healing from your loss. But I hope you are getting good support and love and that you're able to take some time to grieve. I know that you didn't have enough years together, but it feels like you two lived so many lifetimes together anyway, with all the amazing trips you went on. I'm so glad that I got to know him and his silly, loving self. I'll be thinking of you and keeping Buddha's spirit in my heart. What is this? The fifth person? I'm so sorry to hear about his sudden loss. He was such a good boy and we loved him. You gave him the best life and I hope he was able to pass peacefully. And then fifth person's partner sends his condolences. The goodest boy emoji. Teary eye emoji. Like me right now. Oh God. So that was Wednesday. I sent messages. I think that was like over a couple of days, but Wednesday was the day I decided to send the messages. Thursday, I went on the last walk around Buddha's block that we usually walked, and I told Jen at Encore Pilates Center and thanked her for always saying hi and being kind to him and giving him pets and compliments. And I say this because we get some mean comments on the street, either because of his breed or my race, so yeah. On Friday, I was so dizzy and nauseous, but on this day, I planned out what I'm gonna do for Buddha. I realized that telling people really helped me, and this wasn't something that I had expected. And I felt like I could move through this grief on my own. I organized all the photos and videos I have of him into one album, and I made a plan to make a Shutterfly book, and in the end I used Mixbook. Mixbook, please sponsor me for this video. And YouTube videos of it. Going through the videos and seeing his alive self was really helpful to me in remembering him as the dog that he was and not what I saw at the end. It also occurred to me that at the end I didn't have much footage of Buddha in that. Footage that I had of him, it was because I was planning to share it on YouTube. And so in a way, YouTube kind of gave me the footage of Buddha that I had wished I had taken more of. And so I think I should keep making videos and I should do a better job of documenting my life. So here I am. I wrote that I'm looking forward to editing the video clips and sharing them on YouTube, but I think what I'm going to do is actually post them on Instagram on @allthegoodbeans, which is Buddha and Riley's Instagram page now. So one of the people I told about Buddha, they have also a dog, and it's also their first dog, and they were just like so heartbroken thinking about the fact that like their dog might die, right? Like they love their dog so much that, you know, they don't even know what to do if their dog passed away. And for me, when Buddha hit 8 years old, and like if you Google the lifespan of an American Pit Terrier, it's like 8 to 15 years. And when he hit 8 years old and he didn't need to walk that far anymore, and he started getting gray in the face, I came to the realization, and I knew in the back of my mind that he would go before me and that I should prepare for that. So whenever I felt sad or scared about it, I remember this thing I read from Brene Brown. I think it's from one of her books. I don't remember which one. She talks about how when she became a mother, she would get these moments of joy, and those moments would scare her because she thought of what it would be like to lose one of her children, or lose her children. And she wrote that she learned how to combat this with gratitude and feeling grateful for the moment and being present in the moment instead of worrying about what could or could not happen or about something that she had no control over. And I read that book like years ago, but I remembered this part, and I think it really helped me reframe the whole situation of, Buddha's getting older and he's going to die someday. And because I read this and remembered it, I made a conscious effort to be present with him. And I never took him for granted, and I cherished the moments I had with him. And I feel like I can rest well knowing that that's what I did. And I wanted to include that part in the video because I feel like when I told some people who had just had their first dog or had their first kid, they think like, damn, like, that could happen to my dog, that could happen to my baby. And yes, life is short, and you don't want to live in fear that your pet or your child may die soon, right? I don't think living in fear is a good way to live. So I think that's just like a way that I reframed it, and I feel like that really brought peace for me. So the next section is kind of like 2 beefs I have with people after I told them. So look at this cute face. All right. Number 1, after telling people about Buddha's passing, I learned something very, very important. And that is to never ask what happened if the person does not offer that information. So I myself get really curious whenever I hear about somebody dying, like either somebody from my past that I know that I went to school with, or like some celebrity, right? And I mean, usually it's more about like young people, because usually young people don't die of like natural causes, right? And like, especially when I read about like celebrities and stuff, I'm like just curious about how they died, because I don't have like an attachment to them, right? I think it's natural to be curious. However, if someone in your life is telling you that somebody in their family or close circle has passed away and they don't disclose how, please do not ask. And the reason is, it really takes the focus away from the person's pain and grief, and it makes it really about your own curiosity, to satisfy your own curiosity. And it really takes away from them, the person that is grieving their loss. And what happened when people ask me what happened, I essentially had to relive the entire experience, which is very traumatic. And how many times I had to like tell people and relive that over and over again? It's not good. It's very traumatic, and I'm basically re-traumatizing myself. And this is like my first big loss, and I was not prepared for handling this situation. But I think in the future I would have some boundaries regarding disclosing what happened to people. And if I didn't feel comfortable disclosing, I would just come up with something vague, and that's what I would do for younger me out there. So yeah, I know now for the future that I will hold that boundary and not go into details if I don't want to. Another thing I want to say is that, please, for the love of God, stop commenting on people's weight. Stop it. When I came back to work, someone commented that I looked like I lost weight, and they said that they wished that could be them. And you know what? Yeah, it's kind of hard to eat when you're nauseous from a concussion, and when your dog dies, and you sink into such a deep depression that you don't feel like eating anymore. All right, like, I don't understand the purpose of making that sort of comment. I really don't understand. Like, If you're genuinely concerned about me, then why don't you just ask how I'm doing? Like, you want to be like me? Maybe. If you really want to be like me, why don't you go get a head injury for yourself? And why don't you have, like, one of your family members die and sink you into a deep depression? Like, people glorify weight loss so much, and it's like, dude, someone could be losing weight because they're sick, because they're ill. Okay? Maybe they have cancer or Crohn's disease or an eating disorder or anything. Anything. And you're reinforcing that them being sick looks good. Just like, honestly, like, fuck off, honestly. This topic makes me so angry. And I know, like, most people have good intentions, and it's all out of, like, a good kind of, I don't know, spirit or whatever. But I want to make you aware of the impact of your words, and that the intent of what you're saying does not match the impact that it makes. And so you have no more excuses. Okay? You are now aware. Okay? Okay. That's all I have to say. Thank you for listening. Riley, say goodbye. Riley is dead asleep. I used the wrong camera setting. I can't zoom into her face now. Anyway, she's asleep. Goodbye.